We all know that you can spend a lot of money out there getting the best technology in drivers and hybrids, but the golf shaft is really the engine that drives the golf club. I have this coat, so I'm gonna put it on. Today we're up here at Cool Clubs and Mark Timms is gonna show us the lighter side of shafts. I'm wearing Matt's coat.
Well, we talked about driver heads a couple weeks ago, and all the new clubs are out there, the Epic being one of them, and the TaylorMade being the other one. You know, you don't hear as much hype about shafts as you do with heads. Shafts are the most important part of the golf club. Shaft is what brings the club back to square, makes you hit it straight. The best club head in the world is not going to work without the right shaft. And they're definitely overlooked quite a bit, but it's the secret to hitting it straight. So these shafts have gotten lighter and lighter over the years. I mean, 10, 15 years ago, you know, a 60-gram shaft was relatively light. The lighter the shaft, the faster you swing it, the more important it is than the weight of the head itself. There's so many different shaft profiles out there, so finding the right one in that mix is probably the most difficult thing we do. Basically what you're looking for in a shaft is the lightest shaft you can control. Now that might be 70 grams if you're a tour player swinging 130, but it also might be a 29-gram shaft if you're swinging 80 miles an hour tops. But the trend has been for the last 20 years just to make things lighter and lighter and lighter. The faster you can swing it, the further the ball goes. First one I'll talk about here is Accra. This is one of their newer models. It's about 45 grams. Comes in a variety of different kick points. This is one that launches at relatively high. But this can actually be made stiff enough for somebody swinging even 105, 110 miles an hour. So, you know, relatively stable for its weight. Kind of a neat paint job. Cool, bright looking. Comes on a whole range of different weights and flexes. This is one of the lighter ones they've got out. Next one we're going to talk about is Fujikura Platinum, which we've recently brought to the US. Originally only available last year in Japan, but we started bringing them in because for its weight, it's one of the stiffest shafts at 55 grams that exists. I swing about 100 miles an hour and not exactly smooth, so I need something relatively stiff. This is in an X is plenty stiff enough for me. We even have guys swinging 110 miles an hour using this. You even had a couple of tour players, actually, which is kind of unheard of, you know, 55 gram shaft on tour. But it does exist. There's a few guys out there playing it. Really cool paint job, ion plated, relatively expensive shaft, but one of the most stable 55 gram shafts on the planet. And it even comes at a 45. There's also even lighter and lighter things coming out. Some of these Mitsubishis that just came out, there's actually a 29 and 39 gram shaft. Now, to give you an idea of how light that is, we'll probably tie a balloon around this one and have it float off. This is actually the lightest shaft we've seen ever. 29 grams total. That's pretty light. It's about half the weight of most tour shafts. But this is not designed for somebody swinging 120 miles an hour. This is designed for somebody swinging 80 who's looking for every bit of distance they can.
I mean, a person that's getting a 29 gram shaft is obviously...
Ladies, seniors, even moderate swing speeds for men's clubs. I mean, even 85 miles an hour or so. And what we say with amateurs for the most part is you want the lightest shaft you can control. The lighter the better, as long as you can control it.
That doesn't feel like you're holding anything
No,
in
it
your
doesn't
hand
actually.
right now,
It almost feels like it would just float off and disappear.
Yeah, can I check that one
Yeah,
out?
it's super, super light.
I mean, I feel like if I let it go, it's gonna stay here.
Yeah, it's almost that way, doesn't it?
You literally, you have no idea that there's anything in your hand right now. This is a hard thing to portray on television.
It is. It's also a pretty fancy paint job on this one too. This is
It
all
is.
ion paint. Yeah.
That's really
There was
cool.
one a couple of years ago that was 39 grams. It was pretty damn stiff. But the problem is they broke all the time. It probably won't break swinging it, but if it's in an airline bag and somebody steps on your bag or something, or falls off a cart, or a wedge hits it, it's pretty brittle. So we even suggest using like a Lexan tube or something to protect it.
When you're traveling.
When you're traveling, yeah.
Yeah.
This is way lighter than things we've seen in the past. It's about as light as it gets. There's literally thousands of shafts out there. So you need to go someplace like what we do here or another good fitter in your area to find out which one's right for you. You could buy the fanciest new driver on the planet, but with the wrong shaft in it, not going to do you any good. Might as well throw it in the garbage can. That work?